Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, here we are. We're going to be talking about more sequels, but this time, instead of talking about sequels that we thought were better than the original, meaning part twos, now we're going to be talking about 6 part twos that we thought did not live up to the original movie. So this should be pretty interesting. Kills with me, and of course, Eric from Hey Internet, Eric here.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, man. We had a lot of fun on the last one, and the conversation pretty much came into being let's go the opposite way, and so I thought that was pretty cool. You know, something a little bit different, but it was a great conversation. For you guys that did not check it out, please check out the video where we basically talked about 8 sequels that were better than the original. It was a blast. But today we're going to go in the opposite direction, guys. So we're going to do round robin style, and Kill, you'll go first, and Eric, then me. So we're talking about these part twos that just didn't live up to the original. So Kill, what do we have for your first pick?
Okay, so first let me preface this.
Okay.
So some of you guys out there, heck, some of us here might like these movies. I'm not saying they're horrible movies. I'm saying as a follow-up to the original, it did not do it justice. Okay. And oh man, my first one is a little sci-fi movie, and it's still relevant today, but the sequel, it was just a little off the rails. So my first pick is RoboCop II.
There it is.
So yeah,
I knew it.
Yes.
I was waiting for this. I was waiting.
Look,
go ahead.
Look, me and Knight grew up with RoboCop. We to this day, and Knight can tell you, we still quote that original movie. We love it. But look, there's no lying here on the Nightwatch Zone. And when you tell me that the villain of RoboCop 2 is my man Kane here, who's trying to do his best lawnmower man. Kane, who is a robot that is addicted to drugs, and they insert the drugs in essentially what would be his groin area. Come on, man. Like, I'm sorry. I know this movie had an uphill battle. I know it did, because the first movie did such a great job of satire and world building. Paul Verhoeven, thank you so much for your contributions of making fun of America in your cinema, and it was fun. It was fun. This movie, other than the great Peter Weller reprising his role and a lot of the other cast members, this movie just really was a letdown. I mean, you know, and when me and Knight were younger, you know, we're kids and we're looking at it, and okay, we still get to see RoboCop do RoboCop type things, but it's so much about this movie. If you were to go back to it now, you would just kind of be like, why did y'all choose that? You know, like RoboCop now is obsolete, and he's only been installed on the force for, I don't know, it hasn't been that long. I mean, technology does get obsolete quick, but come on, guys. And on top of that, you go to a drug kingpin that's addicted to drugs, and you make a RoboCop. You make a RoboCop 2 that is addicted to drugs. So look, I'm sorry, I can't do it. So that is the first one that came to my mind. This was the easy pick. And Eric, I'm sorry if you love this movie.
Oh, it's all good, brother.
But I you know, we loved it too. But I just gotta be real. So RoboCop 2.
Okay.
But I will say this: it's better than RoboCop 3.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, man.
That's on the poster, right? It's better than RoboCop 3. Killing it, right?
It should be.
Oh shit. Oh man. All right. Yeah, you caught me off guard with that. But Eric, you wanna?
It like I said, I was looking more forward to this just because, you know, just in case someone picks something that people really enjoy. And I do enjoy RoboCop 2 so much that I do have the novelization of all things. You know, granted it was like 50 cents on eBay, but who cares?
Right.
I have fun with it, but I 100% see Killian's point, because how are you really going to follow up RoboCop?
It's hard to do.
It's like I always call it Predator syndrome. How are you going to follow up Predator?
Right.
So,
right.
100% get it.
Yeah, man.
I might not agree. No, I'm giving you shit. No.
I knew some of these picks would kind of be like that because I was like, oh, wait a minute. Well, okay, all right. Yeah. So, anyways, but that's what's fun about this. It truly is fun. All right, Eric, what do you got for your first pick?
Okay. As everyone knows, I'm very appreciative of when someone takes a concept and changes it. You know, it's an ongoing joke. You know, I'm the only one who loves Jason Goes to Hell. You know what I mean? They take the concept and change it, or they do a 180 like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, or even to a lesser extent like Gremlins 2. You know, that's a cartoon when the original is a scary Christmas movie. So in 1999, a very, very, very cheap but very successful independent movie came out called The Blair Witch Project, and it blew everybody away. And a year later, bless their hearts, they tried to go the meta route before meta was meta, you know what I mean? And we got Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2. Now, I appreciate the effort in them acknowledging that the Blair Witch Project was a real movie, was actually a movie, and this guy was taking them into the woods where it was supposedly filmed and this and that. But then they really went off the deep end when they added the fact that the guy who was leading them used to be in an insane asylum that went nowhere. They had a witch in there and a goth girl that went nowhere. They had so many good ideas that could have gone somewhere, and they just kind of like washed their hands of it and then went to the next idea that they thought would have worked. And to me, it just turned into just this huge mess. When you compare of how much was done with so little in the original movie, how they actually made you believe that it did happen. You know, it was the early days of the internet. People thought this stuff really happened. And then you just add these characters that you really don't care about, none of them. And then you turn it into this, is there or isn't there a witch? Was the Blair Witch Project really a movie? Was it real in real life? You know, so many questions, and it just left me confused, wanting more. And in the end, I don't really know if I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? I absolutely love the original, but when the sequel comes by and I've seen it like 2 or 3 times now, and I still don't know what the hell happened. That says something when it follows something, in my opinion, that was so good as the original.
Well, there't that, man. Now look, I'm gonna be honest, because listen, I gotta admit, man, and I absolutely do love this was interesting, and Coriander couldn't be with us tonight, but she absolutely hates the Blair Witch Project. Right. I actually really love it, but I gotta admit, man, I actually liked the second one. I don't think it was as good, and it does have a lot of issues. Of course, there's a lot of stuff that went on behind the scenes, and like a lot of stuff that kind of messed it up as well. But I don't know, man. I've never had a big issue with it. So, like I'm saying, man, I knew these lists were going to be interesting because like we were going to have things that one person was like, well, that actually wasn't too bad, or But I do agree. They definitely didn't have much of a roadmap. Part of that was some behind the scenes stuff too. But how do you follow up the Blair Witch Project though? It's hard to do. It's really hard to do. Kill. Were you a fan of Book of Shadows?
You know, it's funny. It's grown on me.
So you're telling me there's a chance? Yeah.
In years.
Okay.
Because I agree with everything Eric said. It was so many plot threads of this guy from the insane asylum and the nature witch and the goth girl and the married couple, and it's just like, all right, what are we doing? And then they get drunk or pass out and they destroy all the stuff because they're possessed, and then one by one they're getting marked, and so it's a lot of threads there. I will say that for some reason I did like the actors. I thought not the characters. It was a lot of actors in there that I recognized, a lot of character actors and so forth. But I agree with everything Eric said. It is kind of a hot mess
It is.
It's like a hot mess that's kind of grown on me in years.
Well, mold grows on you too, you know.
Yeah. Because I saw this in the theater.
Did you?
You did?
Yeah, when when it first came out.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what the hell? And I didn't like it, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with everything Eric said.
All right. Well, interesting. Okay, we're going pretty good here. Okay, so I'm gonna go with one, and I'll be hard pressed if you guys like this one, because the original, to me, is just such a great film. It's one of those movies I saw as a kid, and it stuck with me for a long time. It is fantasy, action, adventure, you know, there's a lot of different things woven into the original movie. But the second movie, even as a kid, I was like, wait a minute, what? I mean, they were jumping the shark right and left. And anyways, I'm just gonna get to it. I'm talking about my pick, which is Highlander 2, The Quickening.
Okay.
Now, first of all, you had a cool name for it, because I like that, because The Quickening obviously was very integral in the plot of the first movie.
Awesome poster too.
It's an awesome poster. I saw the poster. I'm
metal
like,
as hell.
I'm like, Sean Connery is back. You know, we're ready to rock and roll. And it's like, well, wait a minute, hold on. But Connor got the prize at the end of the first movie, and Sean Connery was. What are they gonna do? Well, they do a lot of weird shit, because all of a sudden we find out that they're aliens from another planet that you can't even pronounce, and it was some weird stuff going on in this friggin' movie. I mean, look at the look on Sean Connery's face. The look on his face is basically saying, how many days did I say I was going to give them on this contract? It was ridiculous.
It's a good thing they paid me up front.
That's right. And he actually didn't want to sign on to it at first. I think he went through, I think they said it was like 20 something weeks or so that he was kind of maybe not, because they knew they had to get him, right? So anyways, now let me be fair, and I haven't seen it in quite a few years. It wasn't the worst thing I had ever seen in my life, right? Because you still did have those characters, and I'm such big fans of those actors, and you had some cool moments and stuff, but you know, it just did so many different things that the original, you know, they were just jumping the shark, you know. And that's another reason why there's different versions of this movie. They tried to correct the movie and say, oh, well, they're not aliens, and it's just in the future, and somehow Connor, he won the prize, but then he gave it up, and he's mortal again, and he grew old. I'm like, what is going on? So anyways, I won't get into that. We might have to do an episode on this alone, because there's a lot to unpack about not only Highlander 2, but the other sequels as well. It's a franchise that I love, because I love the first movie and the mythology that the first movie had, but none of the sequels could live up to that. So anyways, that's a story for another time. But that's my pick, Highlander 2, The Quickening. Renegade version. No, I'm just joking. Because there's multiple versions of this friggin' movie, man. It's crazy.
Oh, man.
All right, man. So...
yeah, that was a rough one, and I loved the first one. The first one is so good, and then it's like, you know, and we'll bring up Blair Witch 2. You know, it's just like they just go so different.
Yeah. With
the characters and the point. It's just you don't know what you're watching. Yeah. It's in my opinion, you know, people like, you know, car wrecks when it comes to movies, and that's kind of a perfect car wreck movie. You're still gonna watch it from beginning to end, but don't know what you watched when the credits rolled.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I agree, man. All right, Kill. Let's keep going with this thing, man. What do you got for your second pick?
So once again, you know, this is a more recent movie.
Okay.
It's a comic book movie, and this person is hands down the best fighter in all of comic books. The best fighter, and I will debate anyone on this, because this character is essentially a god. And I am talking about the follow-up to one of my favorite characters, who is a part of the Trinity of DC and deserved much more. I'm talking about Wonder Woman 84.
Right.
Okay, so look, there's no lying here. I loved the first Wonder Woman movie. I think
Right.
Gal Gadot did a great job.
Mhm.
She was commanding. She was brave, intelligent, vulnerable, funny, smart, intelligent, all wrapped in one. But then to come back with the same director, Patty Jenkins, and to have Wonder Woman in 1984, maybe it's just because it's a different decade, I don't know. She's all lovesicky for Chris Pine. She's wishing him back to life. She's lovey-dovey. She's having fights in the town mall like it's a Saturday afternoon cartoon or Saved by the Bell. And then you have her villain in there, Cheetah, and they barely did anything with her. The CG for her was not the best. It looked very cheap, and it was dark with the fight.
Right.
And even with the fight, it kind of was like a cop out of, oh, let me get these golden wings and just block, and that's the fight. And
yeah,
you know, a lot of the locations in the movie was, okay, this desert region, this open desert, you know, like. And then the other villain, which, you know, you got to have the smarmy guy in a suit, you know, played by my man, and I love Pedro Pascal.
Right.
You know, life is good, but it could be better.
It could be better. Like, yeah, it could, Pedro.
You're goddamn right.
Yeah, and I'm just like, what are we doing here?
I know.
Not to say Ares in the first Wonder Woman was the best villain, but
right.
You know, at least he's also a god. He's on that god level.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm sorry, you know, I was really pumped up for this movie, and is it a bad movie? No, but it, in my opinion, is a bad follow-up sequel to something that was so good. You know, and please, guys, in the comment section, let me know I'm either full of crap or that I'm not alone here by being let down by this movie. You know, that's all I got. You know, what do you guys think on that one?
I don't think you're wrong, because the first one was excellent, beginning to end.
Thank you.
Then now it's called 84. Other than the mall scene, how do you, and a couple jokes here and there, how do you really know it's in 1984?
Right.
You don't.
Good point. Yeah.
Kristen Wiig, I did like her.
Yes.
But but she wasn't Cheetah enough for me. We focused more on the other villain. And the main thing is, Wonder Woman, she is this Amazon. She is strong. She is, you know, this inspiration to be, you know, for women. You know, she doesn't need Superman to save her. And what's her problem? She's lovelorn. You know, she misses Chris Pine. And that for her character, that just makes her seem so weak. And she waits so long to give that wish back. It just makes her seem selfish to me. And Wonder Woman would not be selfish. You know what I mean? She's like Superman, where she would do what's good for everyone else and not herself. And that was just a huge misstep. And
I know,
it was just such a letdown. I mean, there are some good action sequences. That scene with her and Chris Pine and the trucks and everything, awesome. But then you have so much of nothing happens. Nothing happens. Oh, they're cute. They're going on a date. Chris Pine, thanks, that piece of art. Yeah. Oh, what kind of piece of art is that? Oh, that's a trash can. Oh, haha. And then that's it. It's just, it's not as bad as, following up Predator, but Wonder Woman, the original, was so good.
Yeah,
it was.
I agree.
I'm just like, because I loved watching her as a child. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought
training, that stuff was really good. And then it just kind of just, fizzled for me.
Yeah. Well, what was so disappointing was because Patty Jenkins is such a great director, and Gal is so good as Wonder Woman. And I was so happy that the first movie proved that she could be a great Wonder Woman, which she is, and she's good for what she does, what she was called to do in this movie. But it just, again, like you were saying, Kill, it just kind of, the character was just kind of not as balanced as the character should have been. If we go by the first movie, and also the mythology of Wonder Woman. You know, again, there's some things that Wonder Woman would do and wouldn't do, just like Superman. There are rules. You know, there's certain rules, and you're right, she was very selfish in the movie. They tried to explain that, to give a reason for that, but at the same time, it's like, nah, I'm not buying it. So good choice, man. Good choice.
Yeah.
Very good choice. All right, Eric, and what do you have for your last pick?
Okay, this was the first movie that popped into my mind when we went offline last time and we decided this. One of the cardinal sins is when the first movie, in my opinion, is damn near perfect. Like, damn near perfect. And then the first movie is one of those yearly watches because it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is, like, the second one's just kind of boring. You can tell the actors don't really want to be there. Some people might think it's blasphemy because they love the first one so much. I went with Jaws 2.
There it is.
And I said mainly because you can tell, I mean, he didn't want to be there, but it showed in Roy Scheider. You know what I mean? He did not want to do this movie. We're mainly following the children. And the problem is, I personally don't really care about any of the kids because we don't really get to know them too much other than they want to go make out, get drunk, and party. And that's it. We can see that in any movie with teenagers. You know what I mean? There were some brief scenes that were really, really good. This one that you just showed on there. But it dragged on too long, and it's not a super long movie. There's not a lot of characters in this to keep me enveloped. Like the three guys in the original, you didn't want to take your eyes off the screen because their chemistry was so good.
Yeah.
And then what they did with Sheriff Brody is, like, you know, he's still, you know, a good character. He wants to keep everyone safe, but Roy's lack of just desire to be there showed. And I personally didn't care about Sheriff Brody as much, you know what I mean? Because you could tell it was literally a paycheck. He was phoning it in. And I'm sorry, even if you add the body count, you up the body count with all these kids, or the possible body count, it just didn't have the same magic as those three guys in the original movie. You know, it still ended with a neat death with the shark, but that's about it. Honestly, the only thing that really kept me enthralled was like the last maybe 10-15 minutes when it was Roy trying to take care of the great white shark. And it's just like, it's such a sad follow-up because the first one, even with all its faults, you know, Bruce didn't work, you know, all that stuff. Spielberg knew how to hide it. It is, in my opinion, damn near perfect movie, and it is a yearly watch. You know, every 4th of July or even Memorial Day, you know,
that's
around
right.
that time, you got to watch it. And I don't foresee myself ever going back to Jaws 2 for any reason, unless like a buddy comes over and he's like, hey, Jaws 2 is on, you want to watch? I guess. You know what I mean? It kills time. You know what I mean? So it was just such a major letdown for me.
Man, first of all, I agree. Jaws is one of those movies. It's just literally a perfect film. You can't get away from the chemistry of Richard Dreyfuss and Robert Shaw and Roy Scheider. But I will say, I have fun with Jaws too. It's not anything that I watch on any regular basis whatsoever. But the couple times that I'll check it out here and there, it's definitely way inferior. So I totally agree. And the characters, they don't stand up to the original by any stretch. And you're right, Roy Scheider. I mean, look at this picture, and that pretty much tells you everything. He doesn't want to be there. He knows it, and you know it.
You want to be in Jaws 3? What? No, we're not gonna happen.
Don't even get me started on Jaws 3. But no, I mean, but I agree though, man. It definitely shamed the original in that sense. I do know some people that enjoy it more than the first, and I'm kind of like, wow, that's interesting. But yeah. Anyways, great pick.
Well, and it's also like we reiterate, like Kill made a point. You know, it doesn't mean we hate the movie. It's a bad movie. It's just following up the original. It's a no-go for me.
Right.
Big time.
No, it's true. No, I agree. Well, guys, my last pick. This is easily the worst movie in this list. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know much about it. I might have to do an episode on it. I've called this movie out on a couple times. The original to me was a very good movie, a cult classic. Some people would say really, really good, like excellent. I would say it's pretty damn good. This movie totally went in a different direction. I don't know what they were thinking. So let me just cut to the chase. My pick is The Howling 2. Your sister's a she-wolf or whatever it's called. Dude, look. Okay. Let me just put up the other poster. That pretty much tells you all that you need to know. Howling 2, Sterber, werewolf bitch.
This type of bullet, Mr. White, means your sister is a werewolf.
That's what it's called. That's what we're dealing with. Listen,
she'll bring out the. What did they put that back up at the top? She'll bring out the beast in you.
Yeah, she'll bring out the beast in you. Yep. Yeah, that's a great tagline. Let me tell you something, guys. And look, and I'm a huge fan of B movies and stuff like that. And Sybil Danning is amazing, but she could do nothing to save this movie, even if she wanted to. And she's literally the lead character. But it's even worse is this. One of the greatest actors of all time is in this movie, and he does not want to be in this movie. And that is the late, great Christopher Lee. And I don't know what he was doing in this movie.
Where is Stirba?
I don't know if he knew what he was doing in this movie. The story was so convoluted, it had nothing to do with the first Howling movie, which that's fine. Some sequels, you know, they kind of just do their own thing. But there was nothing in this movie that even touched what the original did. Even things like the makeup, it was just really, they looked weird. They acted weird. It was a bunch of like psychosexual stuff, which, okay, well, that's fine. But this is a movie that's also supposed to be about werewolves killing people. You know, you have plenty of nudity of Sybil, which, okay, that's fine, but that can't carry the movie. And like I said, Christopher Lee's in it. In what he was asked to do, he still commands the screen, you know, and maybe I'm saying that because I'm such a huge Christopher Lee fan, but he did command the screen when he was on screen, but he couldn't save this damn movie. This movie, I don't even, listen, when we did the Horribles tag a long time ago, I think that's when I called this movie out the first time, and I have yet to really get deep into it. I might have to do something like that because, like I said, this movie is bad. I mean, it is really, really bad. Now, I do know there are some people that it's almost like a cult thing, you know, they enjoy it for what it is, and let me be clear, because I know some people probably gonna leave comments like, oh, well, actually, you know, I'm not saying this is the worst movie I've ever seen, because I've seen a lot of bad movies, especially slasher movies, like when we do SMC. So in that sense, this movie is not the worst thing I've ever seen, but to come from where The Howling was, which was very atmospheric, very creepy, really good acting, the story was pretty good, and the effects were amazing from the great Rob Bottin, to go to this, it's kind of like, wow, guys, you really lost your way in the forest. What's going on? So anyways, that's my pick.
You're goddamn right.
The Howling 2, your sister's a werewolf, or werewolf bitch, whatever they want to call it. They're calling it a lot of different things. As soon as I saw that poster, I was like, I gotta put that poster up, man, because it said werewolf bitch. I'm like, what is going on? So anyways, so that's my pick. Let me just ask real quick. I know we're about to end this, but have either of you guys seen Howling 2?
No, I've only seen the first. I was very late, and me being a Joe Dante fan, you know, I love my Joe Dante. I was very late seeing The Howling. I saw it for the first time maybe last year or the year before.
Right.
And it's not my favorite, but I will give credit at least with the transformation scenes and stuff like that. It's probably towards the bottom of my Joe Dante stuff, but I've heard nothing good about part 2, which, and you know me, I love my trash, so I'm kind of interested in seeing where this is going to go, because I know by part 4 they're marsupials or some weird shit like that, but
it is.
I'm very interested in just to see what all the negative hype surrounding part 2 is, because you know what, it's got a following for a reason. Troll 2 is popular for all the wrong reasons. I want to know why Howling 2 is popular for all the wrong reasons. So I'll get there eventually.
This is one of the reasons why. That's one of the reasons why. So just
Bless her
saying.
heart.
So, but but you know what? You should check it out just to see it, and just tell me what you think, man. Because, like I said, it might be one of those movies I might revisit just for the hell of it, because I haven't watched it in probably 5 years, something like that. But holy crap, man, that story is just really whacked out. But anyways, that's my pick. Howling 2, guys.
She bitch.
Yes, that's right, the she bitch. So you guys, had some really good picks. But for you guys watching us,
you know what? I'm gonna put you on the spot. It's on Tubi. Howling 2. Your sister's a werewolf. Maybe the next time the Deadly Venoms get together, we have another watch party. How about that?
Oh, that would be a good one. That'd be a good one, man. Yes. I'm going to write that down, too. Good idea, man. That is crazy. All right. So, look, this has been a lot of fun. Who knows? We might have to do another one of these again, because it's just, I had some honorable mentions, too. And, of course, Coriander had some picks, too. So we'll talk about, maybe we'll do another one, too. But
sure.
For you guys watching, let us know what you think about our picks. And tell us your list of part 2s that did not live up to the original. And it can be from any genre. It doesn't have to be just horror or just action or just sci-fi. It could be any genre you want. Please give the video a like. It'll help support the channel. We'd really appreciate it. And also check out Eric's channel. His link is in the description. Go subscribe to his channel because he is awesome. And obviously, if you're not subscribed to the Nightwatch Zone, do that as well. And yeah, we'll catch you guys later. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Nightwatch. Peace.
Cheers.
Peace.